With 2024 coming to a close, I thought now would be the best time to do my makeup favorites. I was really tempted to include skincare, body care and hair care, but I just thought this video would be way too long. So we're just sticking to makeup. I've really tried to stick to the products that I've reached for multiple times. A little disclaimer as usual, just to let you know that I've had some things that are gifted, some things have been bought. I'll try and say as I'm going along, but it's going to be super clear in the caption because that's where I can put the full details of like where things have come from, any links, etc. All of my faves from 2024. Let's get into it. Starting off with primer, the main changes this year is I've been opting for dewy primers as opposed to matte. So we've got the Vieve Skin Nova Instant Radiance Primer. It's just super hydrating, really beautiful finish. And then another one I've been enjoying is by Burberry Beauty. So they've done a big comeback and this is their Radiance Glow. And it's just like a super glossy, glowy, dewy formula. Both perform really beautifully and just give you that kind of like wet, dewy skin. Just looks so beautiful under makeup, especially if you're wearing a more matte foundation or a foundation that's a bit drier in texture. And then something else I've really liked is the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter. So this isn't a primer, but it is something that you would typically wear under foundation or combine with foundation to just give it that glowy look. It's definitely Dior's answer to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. But for some reason, like my skin just does not get on with this. So I definitely prefer the Dior one. It just looks so good on skin. You could literally wear this on its own and it gives you this kind of very like metallic-y glow, but in a way that's very wearable. I do prefer it with foundation over the top, but you can absolutely use it on its own. I'm going to jump into brows because I usually prefer applying them straight after primer, sometimes even before, because I just find that they work out better. They seem to last longer if I do my brows first, before any foundation, before any other makeup goes on my skin. I still really like the E.L.F. brow lift. I think I mentioned this last year. It just gives you that laminated look. It sets the brows in place perfectly and it's like £6 or something. Now to fill in my brows, I still really like the Huda Beauty Bomb Brows Full and Fluffy Fiber Gel. It's a really great product for adding essentially fake little hairs to your brows and filling in the gaps. My main issue with this product is I cannot seem to find it anywhere. I have a feeling they're either changing the formula or they're discontinuing it. I've tried so many different brow products this year, especially towards the end of the year, trying to replace this. Nothing does. So I'm very upset. Huda, what's going on? Can you bring it back? Because this is old. I've had this for a long time. I really wish I had a new foundation to talk about and say this is my new favorite, but it's still the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation in the shade 4WO. The main reason I like this foundation is because it is my perfect shade. No other foundation works for me color wise like this one does. The only caveat is that I have to be my natural color. 4WO is a warm olive. They don't have it beyond 4. They don't have a 5WO. It goes straight to 5W and 5N, I think. It's not too thick, but it also like really locks onto your skin and a lot of people find it a bit drying, but I find it's perfect for my oily skin. I don't even have to use powder with this foundation. So this will always be my favorite. Honorable mentions of foundations that I've reached for. So we've got the Huda Beauty Easy Blur. This is the shade 400G Macchiato. It's a very nice texture. It sits very beautifully on the skin. It looks very nice. It's quite tacky, but I really like it. And then something else I've really enjoyed for when I want a little bit of SPF coverage is the Ultraviolet Daydream Screen. Very, very, very dewy. So if you're oily, you're gonna have to set it. This is definitely like in addition to your usual SPF. You wouldn't want to rely on this solely, but it's very beautiful. Now for concealers, I'm still using the Huda Beauty Faux filter in Toasted Almond. Gives you a lot of coverage, but it doesn't look heavy or cakey. The main thing I don't like about this is the packaging. I think I've said it in my last video. It leaks if you carry it around. So this is a fresh one, but I really like this concealer. And then a new concealer that I started using this year was a Fenty Wear Even Hydrating Longwear Concealer. I have two shades here because I mostly used the 445N. It was to contour. This is very fluid, very liquidy. It is definitely hydrating like the name says. I like it for that reason, but it meant that I was preferring it as a contour or something to like tie my face together or give it that warmth rather than using it to conceal anything because it just doesn't sit still. So moving on to bronzer slash contour, because I kind of use them interchangeably even though I know they're not the same. So bronzer I really enjoy is the Simihaze Beauty Skin Suede, and this is the shade Terracotta. So it has this really warm orangey undertone. It's definitely a bronzer as opposed to a contour. I think they do have more neutral shades, but I just really love how this looks on the skin. It's kind of like a slurry eyeshadow, the texture, because it's really like soft and melty, but it's a balm. It just looks so good on. It's really easy to blend, really easy to work with. I love makeup that's just so easy to apply. Something else I've liked more recently is the YSL All Hours Hyper Bronze. So this is shade number 2. It's literally the same color as me. The shade darker looks way too dark. I really like the texture. I really like how it applies. It's really good for my forehead actually, because my forehead is slightly darker than the rest of my face, and I tend to not put foundation up there because it starts to look a bit ghostly and weird. This is like the way I can blend everything together and make my face look more even, but not like all one color, if that makes sense. When it comes to contour, I still really like the Fenty Beauty Match Sticks. Previously, I was using the shade Truffle all the time. Now I use Suede-ish more often because this is more of a contour shade because it has that more grey neutral undertone. This is definitely a warmer shade. I actually wish they would do smaller ones and like really skinny ones so you could really sculpt your face if you wanted to, but these are such an easy product to use because you can sort of chuck them everywhere. I'm sure I've said it before, but I usually chuck bronzer or a contour into my eyes, and yeah, that's usually the only thing I do for my eyes. So yeah, these are still solid favorites. Highlighter hasn't really changed. I still like the Vieve Skin Dew. Barely need any product. It's that wet gel slash liquid texture. It's really hard to explain, but it just looks like liquid gold, and you put it on your cheeks and it just looks absolutely stunning. So something that's kind of similar is the Live Tinted Hueglow highlighter drops. I bought the 3 mini shades when I was in Vegas. I have Moonlight, Golden Hour and Dusk. I don't know what's happened in the packaging, but it's very sticky. I think they are technically out of date now because I bought them in May and we're in December. So that is very strange, but the product itself is very beautiful, kind of similar to the Vieve one, but it has more of like a wet, glossy texture. They just melt into your skin and just make you look very lit and glowy and like you've seen the sun for days, when I definitely haven't. Now blush. So there's been so many different blush launches. The one I've been using the most since they launched was the Hourglass Unreal Liquid Blush. They're pigmented enough to blend seamlessly without leaving a really harsh colour on the cheeks. Something I've enjoyed more recently is the Rhode Pocket Blush in the shade Toasted Teddy. So they sent me this one and I don't get Rhode PR, so I was like, oh, thank you. When I was first seeing people talk about these, I was like, oh, they look really big and bulky, but they're actually not. They are quite small. Again, blend very easily. They really remind me of the Nude Stix blushes, which I still love. I was using them a lot, I suppose, at the beginning of the year and last year. Recently, it's been this one and the Hourglass. Eyeshadow, I barely wear it because I just can't be bothered. I like things that are easy. If I do, I chuck one product into my eye socket and that's it. It's usually a bronzer most of the time. If I want to be more precise, I'll use a stick eyeshadow, something creamy. The Fenty Shadow Stix is really good. This is the shade in Big Truffle. It's like a really beautiful brown. Or this one by Vieve. This is the eye wand in the shade Espresso. Again, like a really rich brown. Mascaras, I still really like the ones that I spoke about last year, which I think was the Lancome, Tinted, maybe the Dior Show one. This is the Burberry Beauty Ultimate Lift Mascara. They have it in 2 shades, black and a natural brown. The natural brown is beautiful. It's the best brown mascara I've ever used because the shade is not too brown and it's not too black. It's that perfect in between. It's that perfect black brown that looks super natural, and then the black is great if I want more drama. Lip liners, I mostly use brown lip liners, and I did just do a video on my best brown lip liners part 2 because I'd already done another video, so I thought I'd just mention 3 really quickly. The one I use the most, Huda Beauty Lip Contour 2.0, my favorite brown lip liner. You can wear it very sheared out, so you get a really soft lip line because it's creamy enough to just kind of gently tap it there and blend it out and it looks beautiful, or you can go heavy with it and get a really hard line and it just looks gorgeous. I think this literally suits so many people. So I went back to the Makeup Forever Colour Artist pencil. So you can use this everywhere. You can use it on your eyes, your lips, your brows. And it's something that I had years ago, forgot about it. Went back to it and I was like, oh, this is stunning. And it's very different to the Huda one because it's not as creamy. It's more of a drier texture, but it's not dry. It's very easy to use still and very long wearing. So yeah, very beautiful liner, and they are very similar shades. Another one I really like is the Maybelline Lifter Liner. I wish they would do more true brown shades. A lot of them are kind of like nudie or like reddy brown, but it's still really gorgeous. The texture is really beautiful. It's more affordable. They are free solids. When it comes to lip glosses, lipsticks, oils, because we're talking about makeup, I'm going to leave out lip balms apart from this one. So this is the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. This iced coffee one is also really beautiful. They smell really nice and they just feel really good on the lips. They give you a lot of nourishment. They feel really juicy, and they last really well on the lips, and the actual packet itself lasts forever. Every time I thought I finished one of these, I am still squeezing it like a month later and still getting product out of it. When it comes to lip oils and glosses, I still love the Dior Lip Glow Oil. I think these get a lot of hate, one because they're expensive and there's so many lip oils, but also because they're very glossy, so they're not really a lip oil. So they have oil in the formula, they don't have an oily texture. You don't really feel the oil at all. One that's a bit more oily feeling, but not really, is the Summer Fridays Dream Lip Oil. I love these so much. I love them as much as the Dior. Nothing like the Dior. The Dior definitely gives you like a glossy feeling. These are more like a nourishing, shiny, slippy texture. I can't really explain it. I love them both for completely different reasons. If I want something more glossy but still nourishing, it's this. If I just want something purely nourishing with a little bit of colour, it's this. I still also really love Fenty glosses as like toppers, or just something to like tie a lip combo together. So the Gloss Bomb is, you know, a solid favourite. They also launched the lip oil this year. I don't like the brush on the lip oil, but the actual product itself is really nice. It definitely has more of an oily feel, like it is definitely different to the Gloss Bomb, but these again are kind of nice as toppers, but I think that's mostly because the colours are very metallic-y. I do like the Fenty Gloss Bomb sticks. They're somewhere between a lipstick and a gloss. It's kind of really strange to explain the texture. They are very melty. I usually apply them as something like sandwiched between lip liner and a gloss. I can't remember if I mentioned this last year, but I still really like the Giorgio Armani Lip Power Mattes. They're just very easy mattes to wear because they don't feel dry on the lips and they give you pigment. And then two newer launches, I like the NARS Explicit Lipstick. Again, it's matte but very wearable. Or the Burberry Beauty Brit Shine, which is more of a glossy texture, kind of similar to the Gloss Bomb sticks, but not as melty in texture. I just looked and saw more lip products that I liked from this year, but I think I'm going to save them for another video, and I'll do a full face of products from 2024 that I liked, but yeah, weren't my favourites, but they were really solid launches. So moving on to the final steps of my makeup, we've finally made it. My favourite powder was the YSL All Hours Hyper Finish Compact Powder. This is just gorgeous. I actually hit pan. It looks an absolute state, but I loved this powder. It definitely looks more orange on me than I would like, mostly because I've really paled out in colour. I love the way it's set. It doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't feel cakey. It's just really gorgeous. I love the finish. The packaging also gorgeous. And to finish everything off, the Vieve Invisiveil Setting Spray. I love how this sets makeup. I love how it refreshes makeup. It just melts into the skin. It looks beautiful. I love the spray on it. It gives you a good amount without being too little or too much. Yeah, it's just a great setting spray. So those were just a few of my favorites. I'm definitely going to do another video of the ones that didn't quite make the cut, but they are still really incredible launches that we had this year. I'm always curious about what your favorites were, so let me know in the comments. Any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in a new video soon. Bye guys, and Happy New Year.